we haven't had a pay rise for 3 years in this industry, so we're already much poorer. Inflation over that time has been 23%. Our members haven't had a penny in wage increase.
A quick game of post-budget good day or bad day. It's a good day if you're approaching wealthy middle age. You earn a lot but not too much and you want a bigger pension. Good day if you're planning on having a toddler in a year or two's time and you want to get back to work early. It's a good day if you want to drive a petrol car and not see the prices go up. A good day for the elderly worried about the immediate rise of energy bills. But we've got to be honest too, it's a bad day for fans of Britain having a low tax system. A bad day for the majority of us who'll see the biggest 2-year squeeze on living standards since the war. It's a bad day for those, like, the Tory party, who believe that growth should not come from rising immigration. It's a bad day for people whose money is in the value of their house.
The declinists are wrong and the optimists are right, said the Chancellor Jeremy Hunt, but a declinist might be just what an optimist calls a realist. We'll talk to the man himself in the next hour and see whether he can convince you all that our country is on the right road to recovery and prosperity. And throughout the programme, we'll bring you all the information you need from the experts on what the budget means for you.
Mick Lynch is an unrivalled expert in stopping people going to work on the train. He'll be here in a minute to discuss yet another day of strikes. Our racing expert Rob Wright saw us wrong yesterday. Can he redeem himself this morning with his latest Cheltenham tip? And here's a surefire banker you can bet your reduced value house on. Our letters editor Andrew Riley will be here after 8 to give us the best letters of the week in the best accents possible. And do you want forced office fun on a Monday? Of course you don't. But apparently we need to do something to overcome that feeling of dread you get on a Sunday night. Ha! Won't work for me because I feel that dread every night. So that joke's on you, office experts.
You can cheer us up with all your thoughts. Maybe you love Sundays and Mondays. I don't know. Your views on what the budget means for you. Is it a good day or a bad day for you? You can text us on 87222 starting with the word Times. You can tweet us at Times Radio or email our cheery producer Molly on studio@times.radio.
It is 7:07. Another day, another rail strike, not only today, but on Saturday too. The strike has been going on for nearly 9 months. It's been a bit of an irritation for many and has had a big effect on hospitality, which has lost a lot of business. Is there any prospect of an end to it? We can talk now to Mick Lynch, the General Secretary of the RMT. There's a short delay here, but he's joining us live from the picket line in Euston. Good morning to you, Mick.
Good morning.
You have suspended your strike action with Network Rail, but you've still got today's action, which is on the train operating companies. Why have you suspended it with one and keeping it with another?
Well, we had a modestly improved offer from Network Rail following negotiations where our members will get an increase in earnings compared to the previous deal. So that is a definite revision of the offer and an improvement. It's not a great offer, I've got to say. So we've put that to our members after considerable strike action that you've mentioned, and we'll go ahead and see what they think of that. We get the result of that on Monday. With the train operating companies who continue to make massive profits and pay out dividends to their shareholders and pay their chief executives exorbitant wages, we haven't had that improved offer, and we went to our members in a massive consultation exercise a few weeks ago, and they rejected the conditions that are on the offer. It's the conditions that have been put down on top of us, the closure of booking offices, the cutting back of catering services, the loss of jobs, changes to their contracts of employment that are linked to what is still a very poor pay offer, which hasn't been increased despite our efforts in negotiation. So if the train operating companies can come back to the table next week, we can work with them and try and work up a better offer. And if we consider that to be worthy of consideration, we could put that to a referendum. But at the moment, there isn't any prospect of that because it's like a ball and chain. The conditions that are linked to those offers are simply not acceptable to our members, and they will have a very detrimental effect on their working lives.
And I guess the argument would be, so this is more about conditions and that they're putting on than just the simple pay arrangement. Are you trying to hold back the dam here, Mick Lynch? Because there will be job losses in any industry that undergoes modernisation. There will be a time when booking offices are used less, where people just have a different interaction with the train service. And that will mean, in some areas, more automation, fewer jobs. And that's just reality. It's a sad reality, but it's a reality nonetheless. And you can't hold back that, however hard you try.
Well, we understand the realities of the railway industry and modern society. We live in it and we work in the railway industry. If you go to many ticket offices around the country, they're packed, they're queued out. And what the companies want to do is cut back and dehumanise our railway, de-staff it in many occasions, so that it's difficult for people with disabilities and accessibility problems to access our system. And they want to do that in the name of the profits that they're making, that they've continued to make during the pandemic. They could run a fully accessible railway with ticket offices and continue to make their profits as they do today. Since the pandemic, they've made over £400 million in profit, but they want our members to pay for any increase through these changes of conditions. So our members can and do adapt to changes in technology, changes in travelling habits and changes in purchasing habits. But what they want to do is strip down the fares system so that they can extort even more money from the travelling public and not give the public a square deal in terms of the fare levels, which we've seen continue to rise despite these profits that these train operators are making. So it's not only our members that need a square deal, it's the travelling public who have been ripped off for the last 25 years or so through privatisation, while tens of billions of pounds have been taken out of our system and delivered direct to these shareholders in these companies.
It's obviously budget day yesterday, lots of talk about pensions in the air. And one thing we don't often talk about, Mick, is pensions. Your lot do have very good final salary pensions. Some of them at least do. And many people listening will not be on pensions like that. There is a big difference between public sector pensions and private sector pensions. Do you acknowledge that the quality of a pension is something that's got to be there, accounted for in any negotiation over pay? Because whatever the salary is, whatever the salary rises, there are good pensions at the end of all of this.
Well, our members that don't work in the public sector, these people standing behind me on this picket line, work for First Group, which is a PLC, which continues to post profits. And they pay into a pension scheme along with their employer on a shared cost basis. It's not a public sector scheme. It's not funded by the government or by the taxpayer. It's completely self-funded by the contributions that our members make every 4 weeks through their pay packet. And that's a promise that they were made in their contracts of employment. What the employers are seeking to do now is dilute those pensions, dilute the benefits that they've paid for, and increase the contributions. And that is, again, is in order for them to make more money from the taxpayer and the fare payer. So it's a complete delusion that you're putting to me that somehow they're feather bedded and have got a nest egg. They pay for their pension through their wages, and at the end of their career in the railway, they get the benefits they've accrued through paying for it every 4 weeks through their pay packet. And that's a commitment, a contractual commitment that their employers give them. And First Group, Abellio, Go Ahead, and all these other owners of the train operating companies are private limited companies. So they've got to pay their level, and we've got to pay our part. And what's happened in this country over the last 20 or 30 years is the dilution of occupational pensions at the behest of the government and the City of London, and the impoverishment of many pensioners. If you want to solve pensioner poverty, you've got to solve the problems with occupational pensions, where many companies have closed them down.
Just before you go, Mick Lynch, what are the prospects of this coming to an end? 9 months in, this could hit a year. It obviously costs your members to go on strike. They don't want to be going on strike for a long time any more than people wanting to use the trains want to see the strikes continue. There just must be a point where this comes to an end. Is that end anytime soon, in your view?
Well, the end is in sight. We can achieve a settlement if the companies and the government change their attitude. They want to screw our members to the floor. They want to cut out thousands of jobs. They want to change their conditions. They want to dilute what they earn. We haven't had a pay rise for 3 years in this industry, so we're already much poorer. Inflation over that time has been 23%. Our members haven't had a penny in wage increase, and they want to take all away their rostering rules, all their working practice rules that make the job tolerable, and they want to strip out the service that they offer to the public. But a negotiated settlement can be achieved if the government and the companies want to change their attitude towards the trade unions. Perhaps we'll get some settlements in the health sector today. We'll have to see what that looks like. And if that can open the door to other sectors, such as we've had in the fire service recently, then we'll look at what the company's got to offer. But they must offer us a better deal. The deal on the table is simply not acceptable. But we'll be reasonable in our stance, and we'll work up a settlement with them if they're willing to do so.
Mick Lynch, thank you for joining us today.